Okay, I'm coming up to the last forward shadow wrap stitch. This is the color loop that's next to the V color loop. So I just did that. A couple more stitches here. And when I knit the shadow stitch right here, I have that stitch, which I will knit together. Now I'm going to make my last shadow stitch, and when I come back around, the way this works is I don't have another turnaround place on the other side, so I will knit here and then continue knitting in the round, because this will be my last short row. So this is my last turn, and I'm going to do it into that single strand, and the way I do it is I lift it and then I wrap the yarn. Sorry, gotta get a better angle here, it's caught on my leg. And then voila, it's wrapped. You see it's a shadow there. We'll do that again. It's just really easy. You lift it up and over, keep it on the needle. Sorry, this angle is bad for me for some reason. I'm going to grab the yarn and just show you. I just wrap it over the needle, and then it's doubled like that. Flip it over, and you can see the yarn is facing in the right direction to purl back. And this will be my last purled row. When I turn around on the other side, I will be officially knitting in the round at that point. So when I come back around and knit here, I'm going to knit the shadow stitch. I'm going to knit the last stitch, and then I'm just going to keep going. This color loop will be knit with both strands. This is not really a color loop, it's the two yarn tails together, and they're knit as if they were a color loop. And after I get to an aesthetically pleasing point, I will stop knitting with those. I actually, in my size, I need to do one increase right here. So when this gets to be 3 stitches long, then I will separate for the motif so that it looks like this. And then I'll probably end with one last, just like this. It'll look like 3 separate and then 1. Oh, that's 2 right there. So it won't look like that. But I like the delicate look of, where was it? Yeah, this one finished. This was the first color loop that finished. So that's all done, and you can see that it looks really pretty. They can end with any number of straight stitches, but I like the look of 1 after the separation. I think that's really pretty. But I'll see how it looks as I get to that point, because that's just a choice right there. Okay, I can't resist. I think I showed this shadow stitch on the purl side already, but it was a long time ago. I can't remember. And just in case, I'm going to show the very last one. So this color loop is the V stitch. This is the V of the sweater. So I'm going to purl the shadow stitch together, and then I'm going to do one last right side shadow stitch to turn around before I start knitting in the round. And it's pretty exciting because all this time I've been doing short rows, a lot of short rows. So there we go. There's the shadow stitch purled. Now to do the shadow stitch, to turn it, I'm actually going to do it on the right side. It's slipping off my needles. I need to change to a larger circumference. I didn't expect this to happen. Sorry about that. There. I think I'm on 24 and I need to move to a larger needle. I used fixed circulars, not interchangeables, because I think something about my knitting undoes the twist of the shaft, and I just can't stand it. So anyway, that's why I often don't have the exact right size needle that I'm using, and I have to swap it out. But to show you this stitch, I'm on the last stitch that needs to be turned here. I'm lifting it up, I'm propping it up onto the other needle without taking this needle out. So I'll show that again. I'm just lifting the nearest leg, putting it up and over the right needle. I don't take the left needle out. Then I just wrap the yarn the long way. I think it actually you can wrap it either way. It doesn't make a difference. You can wrap it the right way. In fact, that's probably better. And then there's your shadow stitch, and the yarn is facing ready to go. So now I am officially knitting in the round. So all of this I will come to. There's one stitch remaining that hasn't been turned on this side, and I'm not going to turn it. It's just going to be knit in the round because it's the last stitch. There's no point in turning it around. So the way the math worked, that's how it is, because there's an even number of stitches. So there's an odd number of stitches unless you count the center stitch. So that's why that ends up 2 stitches next to each other that will not be shadow wrapped, if that makes sense. So now I'm knitting in the round, and this is the V. You can see it's not really a standard V, it's a V shape, but it's the way the increases are made. It's not like a ribbed V. That doesn't matter for this sort of rustic looking sweater, but let's see if I can fit it in. So that's the back of the sweater, the neck, and then it comes into the V, and this is going to be the shoulders, and I can't wait to finish the yoke.